lab technicians only have a certain number of bases they can go to. I know that there are no bases in the Philippines we can go to. There are several bases around the states that we are not authorized. Like, I don't believe we're authorized to go to any Oregon bases, or there's several states that we don't have bases in that we're not allowed to go to. But yeah, so how to get the base you want, since your options limited anyways. Firstly, when you get a first duty assignment, that's really dependent on, like, your very first duty station. That's really dependent on your dream sheet, or the needs of the Air Force. There's not much you can do to get the base you want, unless you want to cash in on your base of preference. Now, your base of preference is a benefit that you get as a first-term airman, and once you use it, it's gone. I don't recommend people use that for their first duty station, because you can potentially go somewhere that you don't want to be, right? That sucks, and you don't want to go there. And you want to use that base of preference when you need to use it to get out of a place that's a bad situation. For example, if something comes up in your life where you have to go, where you need to be overseas, or you need to be close to family, you want to be able to cash in on that base of preference so you can get closer to family, or get away from something, you know? Like, so there's a lot of choices. But yeah, first duty station is not much you can do. But yeah, with the second duty station, you have base of preference. That's a one-time deal. And what you do is you go into VMPF. Hold on a second. You go into VMPF. You apply on there. You put the base you want. You can put multiple bases. You should put multiple bases. I fucked up really bad. I put one base because I only want to go one place. I'm like, this is a benefit, right? So I said, my base of preference, I want to go to this base. And they denied my base of preference application because I didn't have enough, they didn't have enough room for me at that base. So it was denied, and that's it. You don't get another chance to put in another application. You only get one first-term airman base of preference selection. So don't do that. Put like 3 or 4 bases that you want to go to. If you really only want to go to one base, base of preference is not, it's the closest you're going to get to getting to the base you want. I would at least have 2 or 3 options on there, just in case. Like, if they're all full of manning, if none of them can take you, sucks to suck, but it's worth a try. 4 is a good number. There's gotta be like at least 4 locations you can go to. Like, if you want to be on the West Coast, if you really want to be in California, just put I would put Edwards, Beale, Vandenberg, and what's the other one? Well, I would never put Travis. Don't we have one in like Los Angeles? Yeah, that one's a good one, because the BAH is pretty good there. But anyways, yeah. So base of preference, don't mess it up. Don't put one base, put multiple bases, and they'll try to make it work for you, because it is your incentive for joining the military, is the base of preference program. The second way you can do it is AMS. So if you're due to PCS, so if you've been at a CONUS base for 3 years, or you've been overseas and your tour is almost up, you have a DROS date. Every time you're overseas, you have a specific date that you know you're going to leave that base. And if you don't have something lined up to stay overseas, you will go back to the States. So that's your date, estimated return overseas, DROS, like that. When your DROS is coming up, AMS has a list. It's called the equal overseas list that comes out several months before the DROS date. Like usually, like it's almost a year out from the day of your DROS, and they will advertise positions at different overseas bases for your AFSC and your rank. So if you're, let's say you have a 5 skill level and you are a 4TOX1, they're going to advertise, oh, we have this position at Kadena Air Force Base, Okinawa, Japan. And then you can, if you want to go to Okinawa, if you want to go to Japan, you can apply for that position. And the way you do that is you look at the list and you say, okay, there's these 2 positions. There's one at Kadena. There's this other one at Ramstein. I want to go to Kadena first, but I kind of want to go to Ramstein. So you put Kadena at the top of the list. Then you put Ramstein on the second. Ramstein's in Germany, by the way. It's a really big hospital. Ramstein on the second. And then you just wait. You wait a couple weeks. Just line up your dream sheet on BMPF to match what bases are available on the equal overseas list, and just wait a couple weeks. Then you can get an assignment in about 3 weeks after the list comes out. And usually it'll be if, let's say you don't qualify for a position. So we need a staff sergeant at Yokota Air Force Base, Japan, but you're a senior airman. But you know you're going to test for staff that month or the couple months. So just put in for it anyways, because the rule is up one, down one, or up, yeah, one up, down, one up, one down, something like that. Anyways, I'm going to cut this. You can go up one rank or down one rank in order to meet the requirements for a position that's available. You can always apply for the position as long as you're within one rank. But I don't believe that the skill level is manageable. So if you are a 3 level, if you're still doing your CDCs and they need a 5 level, you're not going to get that position until you pass your CDCs and get your 5 level. You have to be signed off on all your core tasks and everything. Your training has to be complete before you're able to apply for a 5 level position. So, and then same thing for 7 level. So if they need a 7 level tech sergeant and you're a staff sergeant and you don't have your 7 level yet, then you're gonna have to get your 7 level before you can apply for that position. So that's basically how you would apply for a overseas position on the equal overseas list. And those are always rolling out. So you have to keep track of that. You know, if you're due to PCS, you need to be monitoring AMS, and they post the schedule on a website called MyPers on what dates they're going to release the list. You have to know those dates, and you have to make sure you get on there first, because a bunch of people are trying to go overseas. A bunch of people are trying to travel. It's a big reason that people join the military. So you have a lot of competition, especially if you're in a AFSC with a lot of people. I know that my AFSC, and I mainly make these videos for the 4 Tango crowd, but if you are like a maintainer, or if you are geospatial intelligence, or security systems or something, shit, some fucking job like that, air traffic controller, you have a lot of competition, okay? So look at that list and get on there and set up so that you can apply for those positions immediately. So you want to beat out the competition. Another point that I wanted to make, they will fucking look into your records. If you have some paperwork or some shit, like a smudge, you got an Article 15, they may not take you based on that. So if they see that you have some shit on your record, like if you're getting a bunch of paperwork, if you're getting administrative action for something, say you drove drunk, got caught, that'll probably fuck over any chance you get of of getting the base you want. You're basically at the mercy of the military, and at that point, bro, I mean, if you accept an Article 15 and you're trying to go somewhere, I would just fucking get out of the military, because you're not going to be able to use the basic preference program if you're facing administrative action, and because you're not eligible, and nobody's going to want someone who's potentially going to lose a rank, because they need someone with a specific rank. So they're not going to be interested in you. So if you really want to go to one base, but you got Article 15, give up. Just get out of the military, because everyone now is on the blended retirement system except me. I'm on the high 3. But everyone now is on the blended retirement system. You got nothing to lose for getting out early. You get your scholarship and dip, bro. Anyways. So if you don't want to go to overseas, if you want to go CONUS, which is what I'm doing, you have the equal overseas mandatory movers list. So if you are overseas and you want to go stateside, you have to use that list, which is a little bit more short term. So for example, this list comes out usually 6 months before your DROs, and it's very short. So there's not too many postings for that. I tend to see way more overseas listings than I do for CONUS listings. And typically the CONUS listings are really shit. So you have like Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is one of the largest hospitals in the Air Force. And they have postings there for all ranks. Master Sergeant, Tech Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, Senior Airman. That one's always there. Just because they're so big and they always have positions that they need to fill, because they're always short-manned. If you really want to be in Ohio, you can take one of those positions. And it's the exact same process. You just go into VMPF, modify your dream sheet so that it matches up with the bases that you want. Make sure that the base you want is at the very top of your list. And if you want to go CONUS, I would just go ahead and remove all of your overseas listings on your dream sheet, because they could potentially send you overseas. You never know. So just take off all those on your list and only put the ones that you want to go to. But make sure that the one you want to go to is at the very top. They advertise a lot of positions at smaller bases. Not usually any fun ones, because the fun ones are always well manned. Because people will base a preference there, or they'll apply for there, and they always got manning. So, one I always see there is like Wright-Pat Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. That one is a fucking hot mess, because you got the Vegas Strip, sure, but it's a big, big hospital. There's a lot of people there, and they always need people. It's kind of like Wright-Pat. Travis, in California. I've seen Eglin on there a lot. Yeah, it's just bigger hospitals. And almost every time I've looked, there's always like one base or two bases that are really, really tiny. Really tiny, in the middle of nowhere bases. Shaw in South Carolina, Columbus in Mississippi, Whiteman in Missouri, or Minnesota, I forget what state it's in. Yeah, those kind of bases, they usually have like postings, and they're in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's nothing to do around those bases. But if you like that, or if you really need to be at a small base, which for me, that's my situation. I really need to be at a small base for my school. You can apply for one of those smaller bases and get it. Typically those work out really well if it's close to family. So, and those bases are on the East Coast, I noticed. They don't usually post any of the mandatory movers for any West Coast bases, except maybe Travis and Nellis, because those are big. Because everyone wants to be on the West Coast, because that's where a lot of people live and have family and stuff. So, and there's more to do. The third option is the talent marketplace. This is something I know a lot about it, but that's just because recently I've done a lot of research on it. They will post job-specific hot jobs. It's called hot jobs, where they'll put up the AFC, they'll put the rank that they require, and the position. These are special positions that require, like, sometimes they have like requirements, like you have to have your MLT, you have to have your MLS, you have to be certified in something, you have to have this much college, you have to have a good EPR, blah blah blah. You have to have all these requirements. Sometimes not. Like, for example, one of the unique jobs in my career field is the forensic lab technician at the AFME's, the Airforce Medical Examiner. They do all the drug testing in the military, as far as I know. So if you want to do a very specialized job, you can apply for the talent marketplace. You go into My Vector, select talent marketplace, and then look at the equal plus list. And then what you do is you go to the search bar and you type in your AFSC. So that would be your skill level as well. So mine is 4T051. You search that and see if any jobs are posted. I recently saw one like for Dover. So that's a nice little area, a little small farm town. So yeah, you can go and look on there. And they have the actual date, report no later than date, posted on the job. So if you apply for that job and you get accepted, you will know exactly when you're going to PCS. So it works out well if you're already CONUS, because you don't have a DROS. But if you have a DROS, your DROS has to line up with their report no later than date. And if it doesn't, then you might not get the job. But yeah, that's another option. That's pretty much all you can do. I don't think, like, unless if you are buddy with the career functional manager for your AFSC, they can talk to people and they can say, hey, I got this airman, he needs to go somewhere. Or, hey, I got this staff sergeant, he's looking for a base to go to. Do you have anything within your MageCom? And they will talk to the flight chiefs and see if there's any openings. And then you can kind of work with that, do stuff on the back end. But that's not common. And you can't bet on that. So cut this. When you are overseas, if you want to stay overseas, or if you want to stay in a specific area, what they will do is, if they want to PCS you, they want to save money. So consider that when you're applying for bases. If you are Pacific Air Force within that MageCom, that's Alaska, Hawaii, Guam, all of Japan, all of Korea, and then like any bases on like the Pacific, right? All of those bases fall under PACAF, which is the name of the MageCom that is commanding all of those bases. You apply for a PACAF base, you're likely going to get it because they spend less money moving you to a base if it's close by. So, for example, you're in Japan and you want to go to Korea, or if you're in Korea and you want to go to Alaska, they will gladly move you from Korea to Alaska because they can save a lot of money doing that versus sending you to like Hanscom in Massachusetts, like on the other fucking side of the world. So that's something also you want to consider. So if you really want to be in Asia, or if you really want to be in Europe, keep putting bases in Europe. Like, you were at Lakenheath, oh, now I want to go to Germany. Oh, now I want to go to Aviano in Italy. So yeah, just if you want to do a tour of Europe, you could do that. But yeah, something else to consider. Also, there is one more thing you can do. If you are so desperate to get out of a area, you can apply for a short tour and or a hardship tour. So there are some bases that are just so bad that the Air Force incentivizes people to go there and gives people any assignment they want for just going to that base and serving there. One of these bases is Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota. There is absolutely nothing to do there. There's no mountains. There's not even any farmland. It's just flat earth, okay? You are freezing cold and miserable. It is one of the coldest bases in the Air Force. They work on like planes up there, I guess, because it keeps them nice and cold. You get like a hardship benefit, so any base you want to go to, you are guaranteed if you go to Minot. And you have to serve like 3 years there, I think. So, yeah, 3 years at Minot. Any base you want to go to. If you're so desperate to get out of somewhere, you could do that. That's 3 years of your life that you're just going to have to suffer. But hey, you know, it's an option. You're close to Canada, I guess. You can go there. You're close to Montana. You can probably go hunting out there. I don't know what's out there, but yeah. Anyways. And then the short tour would be Osan, Kunsan, and Incirlik. So Osan and Kunsan are both in Korea, and Incirlik is in Turkey. You serve 1 year as opposed to going to Minot, and you get a follow-on assignment. So you serve a year, and you know exactly where you're going to go before you even arrive in Korea or arrive in Turkey. You're going to know the base you're going to go to. The catch is typically, or no, well, if you're doing a short tour, you will not be able to bring your family with you. So you will be going alone for a year to a base. If you're single, it works out perfectly. But if you're not, you have to leave your family behind, and they're going to have to live without you for a year. Get your ducks in a row before you apply for a short tour, because if you don't trust your spouse or something, it might not be for you. You might want to go to Minot or something. Anyways, that's pretty much it, man. Barring all those things, if none of those are going to work for you, you're kind of screwed. You just got to let the gods decide where you're going to go. And it's probably going to be somewhere that's short-manned, that they really need people, and that's a really big base. And you're going to be doing bitch work. Because that's pretty much what the Air Force is all about. It's just bitch work until you start passing those tests, start getting that rank up. If you are like me, who doesn't want to play the game, you got to go to school. So you got to do bitch work, and you got to go to school, and you got to get your degree, and you got to pass, you got to try to commission. So and then if you commission, like, all that shit goes out the window. And if you're a master sergeant or above, you have a different program where they basically just choose where you go regardless of what you want, and you're kind of fucked. As from what I understand talking to other senior NCOs, that's pretty much how it works. Anyways, that's all I got for this one.